And good morning, everyone. A tired but happy All About the Gyro here. And welcome to the post-Daytona Hangover. So in this vlog, we're going to discuss what happened, overall assessment, schedule coming up. So for this episode, definitely the hot 74 coffee cup will be needed for this one. So anyway, how did it go? So let's talk results, mentality, and so forth. So, Team Matt Black, for some, their first ever endurance outing. 7-person deep in the Ferrari, and that team had all the bad luck. But they had a fantastic spirit, and they stuck in there and ended up losing only 2 points of I rating. So they kept at it and got the car home. And definitely they approached it the right way. They went about it the right way. And was very happy to support that outfit as they branch into endurance racing. Mountain trout racing concern. This is another classic MTRC drive. Stop me if you've heard this before. Start in the back, work our way forward, and we're there at the end. We qualified P46. Shortly thereafter, we were dead last. I started the car. I was a little nervous, and it showed. I wasn't driving fast compared to the others in the field, and I think it was an interesting item of note. I have not done the post-mortem analysis in full. I've done a partial. But the track that was given to us was green. It did not have a lot of rubber on it. And so the setup didn't handle that as well. Add that to the anxiety and nerves of, okay, I know this car is a rocket. This car's been fast all week. And I didn't drive the opening stint that well. But once I came in the pits and took our 4 minutes of repairs, I mean, the left front was just getting beat up on. Things started to improve. So we went from dead last. I got out of the car in 35th. When I got back in the car, we were 15th. So typical charge through the field. And during my single stint, I realized we had a possible chance of getting a top 12. And I really started driving at the limit of my ability. And those stints have shown me that I need to not doubt myself anymore. I can drive a GT3 car. The evidence is in the aftermath. In those morning stints, 0 laps under a minute 46. When I came back, evening stints, 40 laps under a minute 46. That's a 4 and a 0. And everyone on the team drove rapidly on the way home. Other teams had misfortune. We kept it on the road. And that is how we ended up P9. So safety rating is back up to 3.6. It was 1.2. And so, yeah, it was a fantastic performance. Now, compared to a lot of the other streamers, we had a better time of it. A lot of the other streamers had all sorts of issues. With the exception of Jimmy Broadbent. Jimmy Broadbent ended up second. Casey Kerwan's team came back from 2 laps down to win it. Mass respect to Sam. Respect. So what was my overall assessment? Compared to last year, I'm going to say it publicly, iRacing got this mostly right, and I think it's closer to bang on right than mostly right. The BOP worked. It worked as intended. In the time slot 3, splits 36 to 43 inclusive were all GT3. The winners were 3 Lambos, 2 Ferraris, a Mercedes, an Audi, and a BMW. That tells me the BOP did work. Is Lambo still the best car in the service? I think so. But the Lambo is not the car I would want to race with in an endurance race. There's less margin of error than a Ferrari in a BMW. So yeah, the BOP, I think, worked the way that it was intended. Further evidence is, so I have on my computer behind the phone here, the sprint BOP average and the endurance BOP average. So in the IMSA sprint races, the BMW was the car of choice. 1 minute 44.264 average lap. Now these numbers were ran as of Sunday afternoon. So there may be a slight amount of variance, but you'll get the point. The next 6 cars were within 0.2 of one another. The Porsche was dead last. The 15 kilos of ballast in the Porsche for the sprint races were very disadvantageous, to say the least. The numbers don't lie. People driving the Porsche had a difficult time coming to grips with the extra 15 kilos, or 33 pounds. Now, for the Daytona 24, the Lamborghini was the fastest at 1 minute 44.620. The Mercedes was second. Porsche and BMW and the Audi and the Ferrari were 0.06 of a second apart. The McLaren was only 0.03 more in arrears. So, the Lambo, 0.45 of a second per lap faster, but the other 6 GT3s, 0.22 covered them all. So that means, yes, the Lambo will need to be pegged back next season. But everything else in the BOP worked the way that it intended. Now, for those wondering about the highest I rating, Lambo, that time was done on a 71.68. The Merc was done on an 83.75 I rating. So, to me, this is proof positive that the Lambo right now is the best GT3 car on the service to drive. And therefore, those who drive it are going to be a little bit more proficient. In experience, the Lambo in the split I was in, it still had a good bit of top-end grunt, even though there was a little reduction, 1%. I think the 2 kilos of ballast probably will go up to at least 5, as in the Audi. I could see the Lambo gaining a little ballast. But that's the only thing I would change in the bop. But outside of that, the stats are very, very clear about the bop. Now, let's talk about average lap times. I can no longer say, okay, I'm the problem. The stats prove that otherwise. The average time for what is considered a fast lap at Daytona in the BMW for a 1500 iRating driver is 1 minute, 44.969 seconds. My fastest lap was 1:45.180. And I did a lot of 145s. A lot of 145s. Now, if you look at average lap, so that takes into account your pit stops and everything, it is 149.076. I averaged 150.1. So what that tells me is yeah, when you break the car and repair the car, that 1 second average, when you drive 145 laps like I did for the BMW, that's 2.5 minutes you're giving up. So that's in essence 2 laps. Looking at the final stats, that's 1, maybe 2 spots. The R8, in terms of lap time, for cars that were running, were the fastest options for the sprint races. Porsche, still the slowest. So from 2 different sources of data, the Porsche was slow. The Mercedes was a little bit slow in the sprint races as well. They were toward the bottom. Now, the Mercedes only had, at the time of data captures, like I said, Sunday afternoon, 681 drivers driving in the sprint series. Porsche had over 2,100, approaching 2,200. But the Audi and the BMW were almost dead even. The Ferrari was 3,200 approximately. The Lambo was near 4,900 drivers. So, looking at that data point, and then looking at the average bop, and seeing that it's 4.5 tenths faster, when 25% of the drivers at the time of data capture are in one car, that explains a little bit of skew. So yeah, I think the Lambo should get probably a couple extra kilos as well. Make it plus 5 kilos like the Audi. And then I think the BOP is almost perfect. So the other part I want to commend iRacing on publicly is no server crash in time slot 3. So last year, 2021, hours. This time, it was approximately 25 to 30 minute delay, but things were moving along after about 10 minutes. I could see the counts start to go down. So iRacing deserves tremendous credit for learning their mistakes from last year. They got the bop, like I said, mostly right. I can see why the Lambo did what it did between percentage of share. Well done. Well done. Bathurst is in 3 weeks. That's going to be very interesting, knowing that the turbo cars, because Bathurst is at altitude, they're going to get adjusted. I think downward, if memory serves. So, yeah, that covers those 2 points. And then the last bit is the schedule this week. So, as you can tell, I'm tired. My eyes are giving away the fact I'm pretty tired from this weekend. I also have to start prepping the house to be sold. So, M says at Belle Isle, I do like Belle Isle. I tend to run it well. And VRS is at Spa. So it's like, oh, I don't want to miss either of those. I'm going to take it easy this week. I'm going to take it easy. I don't know if I'm going to race this week. So I'm kind of torn between the two. But Daniel Morad is prepping for the real life 24 hours in the Allegro Motorsports Mercedes. So good luck to him and his team. But yeah, this weekend was really hard. You had to persist. But this has reaffirmed to me that I can race GT3 cars. I am quick enough that if I continue to work on reducing my errors, continue to be sensible, continue to approach it analytically, that for me, before Daytona, I looked at my iRating as kind of a question mark because it was, okay, I got that through mostly open wheelers. Now I can say, yeah, I'm suitable for my skill level. For the season, I'm only down 47 iRating. I was expecting to be down a lot worse. Yes, I had the dip. So yeah, this has given me some confidence, and it's a good thing. And I need not to be so hard on myself and actually believe in myself a little bit more. Patrick said it very eloquently because I was going through, and I had said in the Discord, the team, after they got slowpoke, referring to me, out of the car they were wrapping and brought me along, and he said, hey, you really need to stop talking down to yourself. You drove the most chaotic stints and handled them well. That's actually true. I did have a lot of chaos in the stints I was in. And I started looking at the statistics and realized some facts. So about the 40 laps under 146. During my 4 evening stints, I pulled out over 3 minutes on the Finnish Endurance Academy white team, and that was pivotal because that moved us forward. And so Patrick wrote this. He goes, consider your improvements over the last months. You're 4 seconds faster than you were last year. And that's true. From my personal best this week, 144.7. Last year was 148.8. And Patrick continued writing, as you're taking lessons from Morad, it's only going to increase. Don't worry so much about lap times. We signed up as a team. We have individual strengths and weaknesses. I'm reading the quote here, so I'll move you over. He goes, don't compare yourself to other quicker drivers. Look at yourself, focus on your own improvements. And he goes, don't forget, your sets and strategy contribute. And sometimes you need to read that to realize, okay, I need not to be so hard on myself. So I'm going to work on that for the rest of the season, is continue to improve and see, the good Lord willing, if I can finish the year at 1,600. It's in the realm of possibility. Anyway, my friends, my time is up for now. But as always, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. God bless.